Hello, starting with the sorcerer first. So, about the sorcerer, I'm gonna be talking in all videos for all skills, all character classes. However, since it's gonna be too long if I talk for each and every one separately, it's gonna take a while. So, by default, all the skills that I am not gonna mention are the element of the element that is in their description, and they have those stats here. Now, by base PvP damage, I mean the base PvE damage that all skills has as default, or 36.5% of the PvE damage. And starting with the first skill, which is Frozen Shock, or the chain after Ice Chain. What I need to mention about this is the CC that it makes is knockback. It is not stun. Stun is magical effect. Knockback, knockdown, or aka stumble, and Aether Hold are physical conditions. Those three are physical conditions. Oh, and spin. So those are physical conditions. When you have some target stunned, you can land any kind of physical condition over it. However, if you have a target into a physical condition, you cannot land another physical condition until the first one is over. Meaning, if I have a target in knockback, I cannot knock it back again. If I have a target in knockback, I cannot knock it down, make a hold on it, or spin. Have that in mind. The reason I'm saying that is because, I'm showing now. And this is what happened. You need to know those skills. Next skill is the delayed blast. It makes damage after 4 seconds delay. What you need to know though is when you cast it, the mob doesn't aggro. If it is CC'd like a sleep or root, it doesn't break either until the mob takes damage. However, if we choose mobs of the same type that are close to each other and we use the delayed blast on one of it, the others will aggro and then the initial one will aggro out of them. This is important mechanic. Something else that you need to know, the delayed blast pretty much doesn't get any kind of magic boost damage increase by those skills, which gives you certain percent magical damage, unlike the rest of the instant damage skills. Okay, next skill would be the Ether Flame. Obviously, things in the description pretty much easy to understand. What is hidden is that this skill has 50% less crit rate than the rest of the spells. However, in PvP, it seems it is normal. So this is probably only for PvE. Really, it's very hard to test, especially for PvP. Additionally, what I need to tell you is certain skills have a decrease or increase passively into the magical accuracy of the skill. For instance, this skill has 60 magical accuracy less than the default. Next is Glacial Shard, which is the next big skill. Also has a crit rate decrease. Also has magical accuracy decrease. And additionally have PvP ratio decrease, meaning it does less than the base PvP damage of the skills. Next skill which I'm gonna talk about is the sleep. However, first to mention something very important, all magical skills that do not have element in the description do have element. Being a damage spell or a CC, it doesn't matter, it always has element. Now, this is the probably one of the few or the only one, I'm not quite sure yet, exception for this. This skill has fire and water element at the same time. How you can test this? Take a Spirit Master, make him summon Spirit, and start using the spells on it. If it resists, it means that the skill is of the same element of the spirit of the Spirit Master. Now, why I said it's weird and it's from water and fire element, both spirits resist. Why I'm mentioning this? Because in my experience so far, it seems that if someone has a little bit higher element defense from something, he has slightly higher chance to be resisting that same skill. For example, if I'm using Freezing Wind on a person with Waterproof Scroll, there is a very slim chance, but chance additional to resist that same spell. So, about the sleep. This is the castable sleep, which is pretty much like the old skill. However, this is not it. It's the skin from the Empyrean Crucible PvE. I believe you can still get it from there. Now, this spell also, like this one, which is the Somnolence, when you sleep a target, you give them 600 elemental defense for the duration. So this is very important to know. Don't nuke into those spells or you're gonna deal no damage at all. We mentioned before elemental defense, 100 elemental defense is 7% reduction. This means this is 42% damage reduction on your spell. Now, Somnolence is the other spell, other sleep, which is chargeable. You can use it in different ways, being 1, 2 or 3 charges. Doesn't matter. Now, what is important that you know is when you're charging the spell, since it doesn't really have an end cast until you release it, means that if I am casting like this, for example, and I get interrupted, the sleep is not going to be casted. However, if I get interrupted like this, and you see I moved, however the sleep went through. This is something very important. Now, if you want a fast sleep, this is a good option. If you're going for a full sleep, I would be using this if if I have the skin skill. This, however, is fire element, meaning the fire targets will be resisting this. And also forgot to say that all the sleeps and fears of Spirit Master and Sorcerer are not affected by any kind of casting speed. If it says 1 second cast on the skill, it is 1 second. If it says 2 seconds, it's 2 seconds. You cannot change that. Next spell to talk about is the Soul Freeze. Now the Soul Freeze is a water spell because it doesn't say no description, and also what else to say about it. Of course, it's affected by, like all the other skills, is affected by the casting speed, scrolls, items, and skills. So you can cast it extremely fast.